Hey,
Hey, so we're back now, and we're going to continue on with doing learn accessibility by building a quiz. So let me just share my screen.
sounds good.
And it'll be this one. Cool. Right, so let's just start the project. Cool. So we have here's a preview. This is what we're going to build with the free code camp. So let's go for it. So they're going to start the accessibility journey by providing a lang attribute to HTML element. This will assist screen readers in identifying the language of the page. Okay, so let's just add lang equals.
No, try
Yeah,
again.
yeah. I'm not. Maybe I'm not in the headspace today.
Okay, I gotta get in the groove. That lang is an attribute to one of your elements that are already existing there.
Yes. Just so by providing an lang attribute. I was wondering, why does it look a bit weird? I'm expecting. The thing is, I think I programmed lang in my head to be red, and then when I wrote it, I'm like, why isn't it red?
Well, good. That's a good thing. Yeah,
Now
use your
I'm red.
cues. Yeah.
So all right. So there we go. And let's just check. Let me close. No, that should be fine. Let me check the code. Yep, there we go. Let's go. Yeah, they're gonna be really. That's a thing, because sometimes it's like, you take a little break or you do anything, then it's just like, well. But yeah, for this one, it's let's just carry on. You may be familiar with the meta element already. It is used to specify information about the page, such as the title, description, keywords, and author. It gives your page a meta element with an appropriate charset value. The charset attribute specifies the character. So they want me to add a meta element, and they want me to add the charset attribute, and they want me UTF-8. And I will close this off, and I don't remember if it's self-closing.
Meta is self-closing.
Yeah. Here's a question. I'm not sure if I asked. If an attribute is self-closing, if you add a closing tag, will HTML recognize that self-closing happens or no?
That's a good question. I think technically you just need to put the slash, before the closing angle bracket. Like, let's try this and see if it like yells at you without. Yeah.
Well, it accepted this.
Accepted it. Okay.
It has out, but I think you might, if when you mentioned more the strict
yes,
editors might not allow this. So yeah, okay. Something to keep an eye out for fun.
Yeah.
So continue with the meta elements. A viewport definition tells the browser how to render the page, including one betters visual accessibility on mobile and improves SEO. Add a viewport definition with a content attribute dealing with an initial scale of the page. So we need a viewport with a content attribute. So what do they want us to add? I guess they want us to do a viewport. And then they want us to add content. And then the width. And then if I remember, is it a comma or is it a space? This is where I get stuck. Let's try that. This might not be right, but
So you're setting your width equal.
Hold on. Continue. Oh, right. That's me not reading correctly. Continue with the meta elements. So we need the content attribute.
So the viewport is another meta element. So you're going to add another meta.
Yeah. and then we go viewport, and then is it bracket if I remember correctly? No.
This one is hard to remember. You could look it up. Like you could just do meta viewport and it'll give you exactly, because this is it's kind of a little different.
Meta.
Yeah, that one will work.
Viewport.
You need that whole thing.
Right. Okay. Cool. Let's just meta name equals viewport. So
what's weird is that you'll notice that car set, the meta tag right above that, doesn't have a name attribute like this one does. That's why I say it's a little weird, and your brain just like doesn't like to recall this very well. For me, that's the case.
So content. That should be. Let's have a look. Now you should give a meta content attribute of width equals device width. Okay.
Width, yeah.
Difficult because they don't actually give you these parameters. Initial scale equals 1. How are you supposed to know that initial scale equals 1?
This is what it always is. So when you're setting your viewport, you're initializing it, just use this. Generally speaking, like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be this.
Okay.
Yeah. And we donate already, so yeah.
So another important meta element for accessibility and SEO is a description definition. The value of the content attribute is used by search engines to provide a description of your page. Add a meta element with the name attribute set to description and give it a useful content attribute. So in this case, another important meta element, value of the content. Add a meta element with the name. So we need another meta element. Let's keep it to.
And we haven't used this one before in the previous exercises.
Meta, so that'll be the name equals description.
Yes.
And then it will be content useful equals another.
Something useful, it said. So, basically you're telling another computer, you're describing to another computer what this is, what this document or this HTML page is going to be.
Margin equals 0. I have no idea. So this is just a
description. Yeah.
Building website or something like that. Is it all together, or can it be space?
Space. You can use a space.
Yeah, let's try that. And then we need to close it off. I will follow the example they've been. This is how they write it. So let's have a look. That's fine. So the code passes, and they just basically put this. Structure that. Okay, lastly in the head, the title element is useful for the screen readers to understand the content of a page. Furthermore, it is an important part of SEO. Give your page a title that is descriptive and concise. So let's just write a title.
And have we described yet for our audience, our future audience, what SEO is yet?
I mean, it stands for search engine optimization, but do you want to give a more of a detail into that?
Well, I can. I'll just briefly just that's exactly what it is. So when there are certain things that you can do to optimize your page so that it will be found more easily and have a higher ranking, and that's what determines what shows up in search engines on the first page, and you want yours to be as high up there as possible. So that's all. Yeah.
Apparently, my YouTube search engine optimization score is 0, but
People have that's their entire career is focused on optimizing for searches. It's very important, actually, if you think about it. Very, very important.
I think it is in some. I think in some elements, I've been looking into whether that's important for YouTube. That's a different story, I think. Yeah, it's very important if you run a website, though.
Yeah, maybe not so much for YouTube.
Yeah, so give notice in the head the title element is useful for screen readers to understand the content of a page. Furthermore, it is an important part of SEO. Give your page there's descriptive and concise. Okay, I'll just write. This is a website about learning how to code with free code websites. I don't know why. I'm not thinking. This is about learning. There you go. How to code websites. And then we'll close off the title. Yeah, with the title, if we remember, it's not actually appearing. It's something for the SEO, right? So
yeah, and it's what shows up in your tab.
Yeah, I think it's like if you hit F12 usually on some tools, this is where it is, and this is where SEO basically uses somewhere here. So yeah,
it'll be up in the head. Yeah, there you go.
And then if we try and find the title in here somewhere, I don't know where it is, but yeah, there it is. Learn accessibility by building a quiz. So you see, this is how it's done.
And that's up in your tab. If you'll see, that's what your tab says up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right here. Oh, so
it's on the tab, up top left. Keep going there, right there. Yep. Yes. That's the title.
Cool.
Yep.
Right, we are go past this. Right, next stage. Navigation is a core part of accessibility, and screen readers rely on you to provide the structure of your page. This is accomplished with semantic HTML elements. Add a header and the main element to your page. The header element will be used to introduce the page, as well as provide a navigation menu. The main element will contain the core content of your page. So let's bring this up. So to your page. Let's just have a look. So I guess they want me to write it in body. So we'll add a header, and then we'll close off a header, and then we will write a main, and then close off a main as well.
And keep in mind that this is about accessibility. So meaning that a lot of it focuses around a computer that's reading the page and not necessarily a human, and what makes it easier for a computer to read it, because that's helping some human that possibly is not able to see different colors or cannot, different things like that. And so the semantic word header and main means something, rather than just using a div, which would mean nothing or is not as descriptive to a computer. When a computer reads header and main, it can actually mean distinguish. So
cool. So our code passes. So within the header, provide context about the page by nesting one image, H1, and nav element. The image should point to 𝐦𝐨𝐬𝐿 platform universal. Yep, that, and have an idea of logo. The H1 should contain the text HTML CSS quiz. So we're gonna add. So they want us to nest a few elements. So first of all, image. They want us to nest H1. It will help if I actually wrote H1. And nav. Nav. I'm not sure we use nav.
I don't think we have used nav. It's basically your navigation.
Right. So let's see. So for image, they want me to put Image. Oh wait, image is so close.
Good. Yes, yes, it is. Awesome. Yeah.
ID equals, and then yeah, logo, and then href. Is it href?
Yeah.
Or is it
Yes, it is. Oh no, not for image. Not for image.
the
Sorry.
link?
It's no, not link.
It's source.
Yes.
Remembering those ones.
Yeah, you're doing great. You are
see.
learning. Yes, you are.
Definitely. I mean, the one thing which I gotta say that I think I'm doing is I'm showing up. We're to this. We're doing this, exercise and going through it and showing up and just getting it.
Showing exactly, and it's hard because it's a week in between.
Mm.
And some of the stuff that they're just telling you in the words. They're not giving you specifically what to do. You have to recall these things we didn't do in like the very first or second time. So you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think actually when you're studying, recording information is really helpful to cement it. Like for example, if you haven't touched it for ages ago, and then like as long as you keep doing it consistently,
yeah, that's a key.
You actually like you keep repeating. Oh yeah, it's this, and then it just like eventually it just gets burnt into your mind. Sometimes I find when you rush through a course and like finish it, like a month or two later you'll forget it completely.
Right. What is that one resource that we were reading? I forget the name. How to Learn or something. I forget the name of it. Maybe I can go think of it and bring it back next time. But it talked about having those waiting. This time in between really matters because it gives your brain a chance to absorb and kind of process it without, subconsciously almost.
Yeah, I did a whole thing on it, but I totally forgot about it now. I remember that.
Yeah, the key thing is that we remember that there is such a thing and that it's helpful and that we're actually doing it. We're doing that.
Yeah, we might bring it up later when we remember ourselves what it was. Yeah. So a useful property of a scalable vector graphics is that it contains a path attribute which allows the image to be scaled without affecting the resolution of the resultant image. Currently, the image is assuming its default size, which is too large. Correctly scale the image using its ID as a selector and setting the width to max 100 pixel 18 VW. So let's see, what does it need? Correctly scale the image using, so it needs me to use
yeah, that's your selector. That's right.
No, IDs. It's wait.
Using its ID. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I think if we look at index HTML, we did ID image ID equals logo, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So we added ID. So therefore, we just need to do that.
Well, no. What's your selector? What's your selector for when you want to select an ID? Okay, that's class. Dot is class. And you don't want to use the word ID. You want to use the actual name that is the logo. Okay. How do you tell it that it's an ID as opposed to a class?
Google is my favorite one. How to tell how to was it
select an ID?
An ID in HTML, I guess. Let's see. So
there it is.
Oh, hashtag. There you go.
Yeah. That's right. And we just move along. And that's how you just don't remember something and look it up. So we do it all day long in programming.
Yep. Don't be ashamed of ever doing it. If ever, this is one of the things about was it, when people go, oh yeah, we need you to do a test or whatever it is, yeah, you don't really that's not how you operate in real life, is it? It's like
No.
most of the time it's just like you essentially would just look it up or something like that. I think lookup skills are more important than actually remembering how to do something. It's just like as long as you have a slight general idea, and you can repeat it again, then I think that's fine.
Yeah.
As described in a FreeCAMP style guide, the logo should retain an aspect ratio of 35 divided by 4 and have add in around the text. I don't know if that's 35 divided by 4, but that's how I said it. Let's change the background color to this. So let's do that. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Color would be hashtag 𝐦𝐸𝐤𝐸23, and then okay, and then use the aspect ratio to be 35. Okay, finally add a padding for Okay, next one. So make the header take up the full width of its parent container, set its height to 50 pixel, and set the background color to that. Then set the display to use Flexbox. Okay, so what do we need? We need to make the header, so that's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna take up the full width of its parent container. Oh, this is really testing me now. I'm trying to remind me how to actually do this. I don't remember.
What do you think is the property that we're going to set? What do you think that would be called?
Max width?
Not quite max width, but it's close.
It's min width?
Not necessarily min width. I mean, just width, probably.
Width. Yeah, but then how do you set it to?
So what's the whole thing of something?
I'll go. I don't know.
And we can look it up if you want to. I mean, I could tell you, but I think it'd be better if you wanted to look it up.
So what am I searching for anyway? How to so parent? I'm not necessarily looking for. I'm searching for parent container HTML. If so, no. What is this?
Oh, there's a hint right there.
Flex. Is that what we're looking for?
Not for this particular one.
Oh, is it? 100%.
Yes, that is it. So when you're using percentage for width, it's going to be the percentage of something. And that something is the container. Whatever is the thing that is containing the thing that you're specifying, that's the parent. So it's going to be some percentage of the parent's width, whatever that is. So.
Cool.
But we're using pixels on this one. So on the next one, on the height. So that's a fixed width as opposed to a percentage, which is not fixed necessarily.
And display text box.
So if you go back to the page you were just on a second ago, where we looked and we saw the width equals the width 100%. Let's see about
Yeah.
it wasn't on. Oh yeah, there it is. Right. Yep, that's what you need.
Yeah, it's just I need to remember what they mean by like if it's not because the thing is if they highlight it like this, that means you have to use it, but if not, that they're trying to hint you to use something.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I kind of got confused. I kind of knew it was flex, but at the same time I was like, oh,
that didn't look quite right. Yeah.
Okay, so change the H1 font color to that. Okay, so we are in size H1 now, so we will do H1, and I will change the font color to be that, and then we need
got a squiggly there for some reason.
yeah, I do. I'll figure it out in a bit.
Is squiggly a word? Like, or is that just some programming word that they made up with when the line is underneath the thing? Is that a
squiggly is an actual word? Yeah.
Is it okay?
So font. I do always screw up font color. Then this is just color, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Ding ding ding.
How might I be more specific? Right. Anyway, so let's unset the font. So in here, I think we just do size again because font is the primary value.
No, this one's different. You actually do need the word font. Remember we were talking about this before about how color is the oddball. It stands alone. But with the other ones, you actually do have to use the word font.
Will we accept it, I wonder?
We could try.
Yeah, font size, yeah, color's oddball. Okay, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, so to enable navigation on a page, add an unordered list. Okay, so something I hopefully remember. That'll be UL. And then we're looking for info.
So unordered lists and ordered lists have children elements that you have to specify. You remember what those are?
Ooh, let's have a look. Yeah, this is really testing my patience. I'm not with it today.
No, this one is very much being consistently like asking you in plain English and not giving you many hints, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think this actually really, and I think this is why like taking sometimes a break is so good because it's like because you just because you pretty much like are not doing it here in here out. Then
yes, you have to recall it from somewhere, and that was the gist of when you presented. I do remember when you presented in the inner circle about that. Leaving a space, because like if we learned this yesterday and just came and did it today, or we did a marathon coding session where we learned it earlier today, it would be in the short-term memory, and then a month from now it would be totally gone. But because we're having to recall it and pull it back out after a period of time, you're going to remember it better and for
let's
longer.
Yeah. Let's hope. We say it, but okay, you should. Oh, so they want you to do an anchor tag. This is me not reading it properly. They don't want me a list. They want me anchor tag. Okay, fine.
Oh no! You actually do need list items, but you also need to wrap the inner text. Wrap that inner text in an anchor. So basically, you're going to have a list item, but you're going to have inside that you're going to have the anchor that has text. Yeah. I think this is probably what they want.
Oh,
and this is pretty common pattern too with menu items.
Like this, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the thing is, this is really like more challenging and stuff, which is good. Like it challenges you to remember, and I'm getting there. I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, cool. So that's fine. It's happy. The code. So target and unordered list items within nav elements and use flexbox to event evenly spaced children. So we want the target on. Oh, this is another one. It's. I remember there's a bracket. It's you write nav, and then there's a bracket, and then you write a list. I think.
Yeah. Try that.
And then there's a bracket, and then you write list.
Oh no, not that one.
No, yeah, it's a square. It's this one, isn't it?
No.
Or is it the?
You know what? I don't know that we use this one actually. The immediate descendant of something. When you want to specify, like they're saying, a list element within nav, an immediate descendant. I believe you want to use like a greater than symbol, or basically like a closing angle bracket, and then
What's the closing angle bracket? This one?
No, that's a square bracket. Like a greater than symbol. I don't know if that's what you guys call them. So yeah, and maybe put some space between. Space between each one.
What do you mean? Like you mean like this? Or you mean like
space?
This?
No, the other way. Yeah, that one, and then li. Yeah, and then we put a space after the word nav. See if it's okay with that. Put a space after. Yeah. So basically, what you're saying here is all the list items that are a direct descendant of nav. Oh, wait a minute, because list items are not direct descendants of nav. You might just need a space here instead of the angle bracket.
Let's just have a look.
Okay. Yeah.
No, so you should use the nav. We did.
Oh, okay. All right. Scroll down a little bit so I can see the rest of what it say. There we go. Okay. All right.
Oh, spaced evenly. Oh, okay.
So I can it's hard to remember this justify content, but if you use like word processing very much, like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and you ever have to justify the content of your lines, that's how I remember this. Because what it does is it pulls it out from the very beginning to the very end, and it spaces all the words all across the whole line evenly, and that's how I remember that justify content.
Okay. So I'm just having a look because I see the justify content, but there was one thing I'm not slightly confused about. So I'm just CSS justify content. But so what? You don't put flex? I use flex box to even spaces. So what? You meant this is wrong.
The property flex, display flex, has to be on the parent. So if we go up to the nav, do we have in the style CSS, did we say display flex on the nav somewhere? Yeah. So up there, nav. Oh, we don't have it on the nav.
No.
Okay.
It's just the new now as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Display flex and then also justify content?
And then we did flex. How about that? Would that work?
Well, no, you'd say justify content and then
a display of flex. Okay, so
display flex and then justify content space evenly would be the value for that.
Space evenly.
And space dash evenly, because it's one word.
Yeah. I don't think we ever use the justify content like that. I don't remember we using this. Okay. Looks good. Fine.
Yeah.
We did it. We did it. It passed the check mark. Okay. So as this is a quiz, you will need a form for users to submit answers. You can semantically separate the content within the form using the section elements. Within the main element, create a form with 3 nested section elements. Then make the form submit to that and using the correct method. Great. Okay. So. So it needs section.
So yeah, these semantic tags are tags that are named things that like a computer or screen reader can read and tell what it is. Section like header, like footer, as opposed to just using the word div. So you're going to have 3 sections.
Right. Okay. So section.
This makes your page more accessible. Then you could use divs and make it look and act the way you want it. But using the word section helps a screen reader and helps accessibility because it can understand that these are different. They're cohesive. Whatever's in there is going to be together as a section, that kind of thing.
I forgot how to use the submit.
Does it say to put a submit on there?
Submit HTML. So put type.
What is it? Where does it say submit? Then
Great.
make the form submit to. Oh, okay.
So we need a form.
You need a form. Create a form with 3 nested sections. Okay, so your sections are going to be nested in a form element.
Close off the form. And then make the form. So and over here should be input type. Where is it? Type equals submit.
Look up form element. And then remember, when you're looking things up, always put your language first. It's helpful. Like, so our language would be HTML and then form element. If you have it anywhere on your search, it'll work. Okay, so is this the form element?
I'm not sure.
There we go. Let's check that. So scroll down. So that's not helping us. So in your search, do HTML form submit.
It kind of helps. I mean, you have form, and then within it, I can just write input type and then equals.
That's going to be a submit button. What they're saying here is that whenever you have a form that you're creating, a form in an HTML page, in the form element itself, you've got some attributes.
Errors.
There we go. That's what you're looking for. See how you have an attribute action. You actually don't want to put this input there. It's looking for action equals. What that's saying is, what do we do when you click on the submit button or the submit link? Where should this form, what happens with this form? So if you go back to your instructions, it says make the form submit to. So
we need an action on the form.
Yeah.
And then it'll be to that.
Yeah.
And then we will do, then there's also one more thing.
Yeah.
So we need an input type, right? So we need this.
I don't know if it's asking for that right now. It's asking for the correct method. So a method is like an HTTP method where you have put and post or get. And since this form, I think, is going to be submitting to this URL, your action would probably be, so your method, it would be the property name is method, and it would be post, because you're going to be sending data and posting it to this URL. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's getting a lot harder now, isn't it?
I don't remember if we did that before. And maybe part of this lesson here is that you're going to be looking things up. And that's okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the things that's like, if you get stuck, just it's okay.
So I'm gonna like not talk as much about it. And if you don't recall having learned something or you don't remember it, just go ahead and go on right on over and look it up. And then if we're not finding it, then I'll chime in. How's that?
Yeah, I don't mind whichever makes it. Hope we do within an hour or so, but it's fine if we don't. So to increase the page accessibility, the row attribute can be used to indicate the purpose behind an element on a page to assistive technologies. The row attribute is part of the Web Accessibility Initiative and accepts preset values. Give each of the section elements the region row. So they say row is an attribute.
Yep.
So row is an attribute. So, and now I'm going to give it a region. And then equals region. And again, row equals region.
And I'm going to look that up to say, what does it mean by region there? Because I'm not sure. And then I'll let us know here in a minute.
So, part of the Web Accessibility Initiative. You've heard of that?
I have heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
I'm going to let you look it up and tell
Yep.
how the world. I'll just carry on with the challenges.
Yep.
Right. So let's see. Every region row requires a visible label, which should be referenced by the area labeled by attribute. To the section elements, give the following area labeled by attributes: student info, HTML questions, CSS questions. Then within each section element, that's one H2 element with an ID matching the corresponding area labeled by attribute. Give each H2 suitable text content. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I will try and do this. Well, I think Connie has something to share. I think maybe.
Oh, yeah. So I've got aria. The region is used to identify document areas the author deems significant. So this thing I'm looking at right now, the role is specified on a div as opposed to a section. So evidently it doesn't have to be associated with a section. It just is something where you're saying that this is a significant area. I think that is kind of why region is likened to like area.
Okay.
Yep. Every element with a region role should include a label that describes the purpose of the content in the region. So I don't know if it's telling you, okay, you've got label there, labeled by. I don't know if it's telling you to specify. Yeah, so it's saying preferably with an aria labeled by, referencing a visible header.
Oh, it's an actual attribute itself. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's an actual attribute itself.
Yeah. 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 There you go. That's exactly right. And then you want to say equals on that. Give it a suitable.
So student info equals HTML questions. And yeah, it's really picked up the pace, I gotta say, in terms of learning this week. Then within each section, element. That's one H2 element with an ID of so within each section I need to nest one H2. Right. Because I'm doing it like this, I'm gonna space it out a little bit because
Yes, that's what I would do also, since you're going to have some nested other elements in there. Looks like H2 elements.
with an ID equals oh, okay. So that's how they want me to draw. Okay, fine. And then I realize I'm doing it backwards, but that's how I do it sometimes.
That's all right. No worries.
Let's see.
So while you're doing that, the aria that you see, and then you'll come across that, and there'll be other aria type of things. That aria, I just looked it up here. I always wondered. I just kind of went with it. But it stands for Accessible Rich Internet Applications. That's what that stands for. Accessible Rich Internet Applications.
Yep. So they want me to add random text. So essentially here I need to write student info.
Yeah.
Next one will be HTML questions. And then the next one should be CSS questions. I don't like that space, so I'm just going to get rid of that, and hopefully that's it. Cool, so that's what I have. Right, next one. So typeface plays an important role in the accessibility of a page. Some fonts are easier to read than others, and this is especially true on low resolution screens. Change the font for both the H1 and H2 elements of Adana and use another safe font for the sans serif family as a fallback. Okay, let's handle that first. This is where I struggle. I think it uses a comma. Possibly. Let's see. So let's see, and then we do font family equals not equals. Let's allow it set for Dana, and then we have and then we need a fallback. Fallback. How do you do fallback? HTML. HTML.
Good.
Fallback text. Oh. Let's see. CSS font. That doesn't do. That doesn't work.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it did. Look at that. So basically, they're saying that font family. Scroll down there. Did you see it? Oh,
I'm looking at the code. Oh, I just put a comma.
Yeah, comma. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I do Verdana, and then I do a comma, and then another website font and a sans serif. I have no idea. So let's just go back to what they were. And so sans serif fonts. So these are my sans serif fonts. So I can use, I guess, Arial.
Yeah, I think so.
So we will use Arial as a fallback font if Verdana is not available, and it seems like it isn't. So yeah, because it changed as soon as I put that in. So now also add a border bottom of 4 pixel solid. Yeah. Oh no. Ah, you have to. What? So also add a border. You should use a. Did I?
So you want that, what you have there, except that last paragraph there is saying target H2 only.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's cool. So I have this. Oh, also add a border bottom a full pixel to target. Is that? Did I just do this? But is there more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. Okay, all right. And then we will do this and cut it out. And voila, cool. Yeah, it's getting you to do multiple now.
Yeah.
Yes. In one step rather than.
Yeah.
So to be able to navigate within the page, give each anchor element a href corresponding to their ID. This is now. I don't know. No, that must be. How to reference.
So it's saying to href to the corresponding ID. So it's the ID selector, just like it is in CSS. It's the same. It selects it the same way. The ID.
So is that one? No. It's.
So the thing that you want to, when you click on.
Yeah, I've got these, right? So these are my IDs.
Yes. Yeah. So the first one there is student info. So when you click on that info link, you want to go to the student info section that has an ID, student info. So the href would be the ID student info, but that's just the word student info. You actually need to say this is an ID somehow. So how did we do that in the CSS? Yes, that. Yep.
Okay. Cool. All right. So let's go into the next one. Right. I think that's fine. What is this? HTML questions. And then CSS. Hey. Okay.
Awesome. I think they also call those bookmarks. I'm gonna look that up too. Hold on. Keep going and I'll look. Bookmarks.
Filling out the content of the quiz. Below student info and free div elements. Add free div elements to the class of info. Then within each div, nest one label element and one input element. Wow. Okay. So filling out the content below student info. Add free div elements. Yeah, I'm gonna start to be, if they are asking repetitive stuff, I'm just, then within each div, nest one label element. Let's just do that. Label and one input. Input. So I'm done. Close it off. So goes off input, and then goes off label, and then copy and paste. Always get that sometimes. The spacing always screws up on the first copy.
Yeah.
Do you ever get that? Am I copying it wrongly or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe it depends on where your cursor is when you're pasting. Not sure.
Maybe right there. So let's see. So you should give the first div a class of info. So the first div. Oh, add 3 div elements with a class of info.
Looks
Okay.
like they all get class info.
Fine. So div class equals info. Let me just read through anything else. Add 3 div elements with a class of info. Okay, cool. Right. So we will copy this. Then
now see where your cursor is? If you put your cursor over to the very left, because that's where you copied from. Yeah.
I see. Okay, cool. So that's done. So this should be successful. Hopefully, no, it's not. You should nest one input.
Oh, okay. So I don't know, but inputs are for self-closing. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And I'm not sure that, I think inputs should go in the label. Let's check this first. You should nest one input element within the first div after the label. Oh, okay, so it wants your input to go after the label.
Like here.
No, it wants you to go ahead and close the label, then put the input instead of nesting it.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay. So there we are. That's my label element. And then I will put my input element if it's self-closing. Are you sure it's self-closing?
Yeah, inputs are.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Let's try this.
Yes. And then
there's 2. Okay. 3.
Let's try that. Now you should nest 3 div elements below the. I'm pretty sure I did. 3 div elements.
Oh, below the H2.
No.
What's happening?
I didn't close off a div.
Oh, I see. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Wow. This is really expansive. In 4 lines, I'm meant to do all of this. That's they're really beginning to ask.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot longer. It's 1 o'clock already, and we're only on step 20, and this is a 60-some step.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's like 63, so it's just like it's definitely taken a lot longer on this one.
Yeah.
So it is important to link each input to the corresponding label element. This provides assistive technology users with a visual reference to the input. This is done by giving a label a for attribute, which contains the ID of an input. This section will take the student's name, email address, and date of birth, give the label elements appropriate for attributes as well as text content, then link the input elements to the corresponding label elements. So let's see. So first of all, it is important to the this is done by giving a label a full attribute. So we need to give it a full attribute. This section will take a student's name, give the label elements appropriate for attributes as well as text content. So this is a part we're working with. So they want full attributes within a label. So if we are enough label, for equals, which contains the ID of the input. So are we then going to be doing, so this section will take a student's name, email address, and date of birth. Sure, students. No, this is wrong.
You could do student name, student dash name, or student name camel case. Okay, no, you'll have to make it one word, like student dash name, and then the ID would be the same as this value, the ID of the input. So take that value and assign it to the ID for the input. So basically, you're saying for this label is the label for the input that has the same ID. So ID equals, yeah. And that's how you are associating the label with the input.
Okay, so here we're gonna write a full attribute equals then the email address. Input will be ID equals email address, and then again I'm just going to DOB. And then they want me to, so I've linked them. I've given, so they want me to give text content too. So in and then in here we'll write email address. And then in here we will write wait, hold on. Yeah, in here we'll write the date of birth. Hey, that succeeded. Yeah.
Awesome.
It literally takes like 5 minutes now every step, which is
Yeah.
Keep in mind best practices for form inputs. Give each input an appropriate type and name attribute, and give the first input a placeholder attribute. So let's see. So keep in mind best practices for form inputs. Give each input an appropriate type and name attribute. So let's see. So I guess I will just carry on with this.
Yeah, that will work.
And then first type equals where's the type? What? Just have a look at input types. Yeah, I was thinking, right? Or text. I guess it's text or radio.
Why would you say radio?
Yeah, because you'd need like that as a form. No, there can't be radio. It has to be a text.
Right.
You can't. Yeah,
Right.
Because you want somebody to write the name, right?
Text in there. Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
Yeah, because by default it's text, isn't it?
Yeah, but they want you to actually
they want
explicitly
specify. That's why I was confused. I was like, it's already there.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want me to add? It's already there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So this one we write and then we will write. Here's one for you. So I know we've probably gone a couple of times through it, but where would you use a name and ID? Because that's like the thing that seems to be, you write the same, but how would you reference both of them? Is it just will you reference it by name and ID when you do?
No, you don't reference. The name is not a selector. A class or ID are selectors. Name. When do you use name on radios and checkboxes to associate them all together so that like radio, you can say this is if all the radios have the same name, then you can only select one at a time, and that kind of a thing. But for a text field, what do you use the name attribute for? Not exactly sure how that helps.
Date. All right, so we have an email. So it should, like, if I write this, yeah, they would require at and then .com. That's how it would work.
Yeah.
The birth is there. So we're happy with that. Then give the first input a placeholder attribute. So we want a placeholder of what do we write after that?
Enter your name. Oh.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. I now clocked what you said.
Mm-hmm. You do need quotes. Yep.
It should show up as enter your name. Fine. Cool. We
Awesome.
are there. Right. The next one. Even though you added a placeholder to the first input element in a previous lesson, this is actually not best practice for accessibility. So too often users confuse the placeholder text with the actual input value. They think there's already a value in the input. Remove the placeholder text from the first input element, relying on a label being the best practice. So what we're going to do is remove the placeholder text from the first input element. Here, okay,
yep.
Cool. Well,
that was a pretty easy one.
I'm like expecting like a mountain of challenges now every step now. Okay, append the span element with a class of SR on it to the current text content of the third label element. So we are in the third label element, yes, which is the birthday, and so arguably DLB this is one way to get without having is to add append a span element of the current text. So this is the current text. So we need a span element. We need a class of SR dash only. Wait, no, hold on. Class equals SR dash only. And then we will do close that off. And then close off the span.
So I don't know if that, okay, I don't think that they want it to be wrapping the text. I think it says append it. So put it like after that DOB. Append a span element to the current text context. Usually when they'll say wrap it or something, right? You would try wrapping. Oh, we did wrap. Okay.
Places. Oh, yeah, it seems you're right. You should place the span after the text content DOB. Is span self-closing or no?
No, it is not. So you want to put something in between it, but I don't know that they want to do that yet. Maybe that would be the next step.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me just understand what this means. So append the span element of a class to the current context. So they say it's not descriptive enough. So what happens? So if I had the span like over a class of, that is bizarre.
So, yeah, so they're SR only, screen reader only. So what we're going to do here probably is put some text in there, and then since it has a class on it, we're going to put some styles on there so that only a screen reader can read it.
See what you mean. So essentially, right now we see DOB. Yeah. If like for example, you had a screen reader, the screen reader would say D.O.B. Whilst if you actually, for example, I think what they're gonna want is, you have date of birth here.
Oh yeah.
So you essentially, when the screen reader does come, it will go date of birth rather than D.O.B. So it's just like that is more descriptive, and that's why you might want to do this. Of course, this is showing up right now, but I guess that we'll do something about that. I don't think it's you write the text, but I think that's the angle that they're going for.
Yeah, probably.
Cool. All right, so
yeah.
within this, yeah, pretty much.
Good guess, Andrei.
Sorry?
I said good guess.
Yeah, but it was in brackets. That's
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was actually a very good guess. So it's exactly what it said. Yeah. Funny. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they need the hidden attribute. Yeah. So there is a common pattern to visually hide text for any screen reader to read. The pattern is to set the following CSS properties. All of this, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Just to hide some text.
So there is a visibility property you can put on any HTML element, visibility display and visibility hidden. But that is for, in generally, no one would be able to see it if it's visibility hidden. So they need for it to be in the document, but not be seen in general. Like URI wouldn't see it, but it's actually going to show up in the document with these properties here. It's going to be there, but it's going to have a width of 1 pixel, a height of 1 pixel, etc. So
yeah,
interesting.
I know it's interesting. I copy and pasted it, but at the same, yeah, I know I'm supposed to type it out, but I just
don't blame you.
I just can't get into my head like all of this. So that we are done with this, but it's really that is so. I mean, for me, it's like the fact that you need all of this just to hide one piece of code is insane to me. I don't know. It's just like to hide something like. I mean, I'm just sorry. I have curiosity. What will happen? Because I see the hidden attribute. I just want the hidden attribute. I just want to see what happens if I just have this.
So that's overflow hidden. If you were to take all those back out and do visibility, use the visibility attribute. So take all those out. Yep. And now you see there's the date of birth on the screen there, and use visibility and then colon hidden. Yeah. So you see what happens? It removes it. We wouldn't see it, correct, but it's not in the DOM either. It's not in the document object model at this point, but a space is helpful for it. So it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It doesn't look right.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. But if you actually go back to all of this,
yeah, it needs to be in the DOM but not seen. So that's interesting to know.
Yeah. position absolute, and like, yeah, basically this is the way it's yeah. Wow. Okay. So within the second section element, add 2 div elements with a class of question block. Then within each div.question block element, add 1 p element with a text of incrementing numbers, starting at 1, and 1 field set element with a class of question. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So we need to add 2 div elements with a class of question block. So let's just quickly do that. Yeah. Div, and then my div, and we need the class to be question block. Yeah, I have a feeling that we probably will need a second part on this. We'll get as much as we can, but I think
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And that's okay.
Let me see. So I don't know if I just copy this one. Cool. Then within each div.question block element, add 1 p element. One field set element, class of question. So then within each field set, field set is itself closing.
I don't remember if field set is self-closing. I don't think it is.
No. So just gonna yeah, it's fine. I'll type it out this summer. 2, 3, 4.
Maybe it's 1 at the top and then 2 at the bottom.
Oh, you mean like you have
Question 1, question 2.
1 and then
2.
You have 2. Can try that. Oh yeah, I can see it because they're doing that. Sometimes just watching the graphic helps you a lot. So okay, we have that. Then field set class equals question, and then we'll close off. And
oh, you spelled field set wrong up there. 𝐸𝐿D. Yep.
okay, that should do it. I hope no, it hasn't. You should give the first PM. It's with the space.
The space, yeah.
Like the space and. Is there
Maybe.
another place and it is a space and put it afterwards as well? I don't know. It has to be absolute.
Getting picky.
There you go. Right, so each field set will contain a true or false question. Within each field set, next 1 legend element. and one UI element with 2 options. Let's see. So where we're going. So each field set will contain a true, false question. We need field set. That's one legend. So within here, we need to do a legend element. And one UL, and with the and the they haven't mentioned anchor. I'm not sure if they want it. They might, but we'll see. So
The anchors are usually in your navs, your navigations, because you're clicking to go somewhere. Maybe not so much here.
Let's see. No, that's with this within the sec. Oh, it's
within.
Cool. So the code is done. Right. Next one. So give each field set an adequate name attribute. Then give both unordered list class of answers dash list. Finally, use a legend to caption the content of the field set by placing a true false question as a text content. So we're gonna give each field set an adequate name attribute, then give both unordered lists a class of answers list. So just gonna repeat what it is. Well, I don't know. That's like unless they want me to. I don't know what the question is. Otherwise, I would have said what the
question.
Question 2,
question 1. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That's what I'll do. Then give both unordered list a class of answers dash list. So wait, what am I doing? And give it. Finally, use a legend to capture the content of the field set by placing a true/false question as the text content. So use the legend to caption the content of the field set.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you want to put your first question there. I just make something up for now. They're gonna probably, when they check it, they'll put the, yeah.
Hey, okay. So that's basically captions it. Okay. So, yeah, they were a little bit more specific. Let's see. So to provide the functionality of the true/false questions, we need a set of inputs which do not allow both to be selected at the same time. within each list element, nest one label element, and within each label element, nest one input element with the appropriate type. Okay, so they need a set of inputs within each list element. That's one label element. So we have a list element, and we need to repeat this 4 times. That's one input element. So, okay, fine. So let's just do this. Label, and label, and then do button. So they want one input element.
The inputs are, yeah, self-closing.
Type equals
Appropriate type. What's it?
true, false. That's what they want. Does it checkbox?
Well, a checkbox means you can check both of them.
No, hold on. Let's have a look. I think I had. And then let me just have a look at the input types and so on. So we have a checkbox, a button, a radio, and a radio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We want 2 radio buttons. Input type. Radio.
Remember when we looked that up? It was basically from the old cars and vehicles that had radios where you had buttons that you could push one at a time.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so essentially we need this text in the same kind of format. So this is faster, I think. And then I think we need to do this as well. Right here.
You start at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm searching for my home button.
Home button. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Numlock. What's my numlock? That's my delete. And I'm trying. Sorry, 1 second. F and numlock. So there you go. So okay, cool. Right. So this one. And then hey, on to the next. Right. Although not required for a label elements with a nested input, it is still best practice to explicitly link a label with the corresponding input element. Link the label elements with the corresponding input elements. So is this for an ID? Or
yes,
is it...
yes. 4 equal, yeah, the ID of the input. Which you don't have on there yet, so. Okay.
Yes, but I'm just trying to figure out what I should put for this. This is the first one, right? So this is for true. Does it accept slashes?
I don't know.
Try, and then I'll say for the type, and then input ID equals true. Sorry, true 1. Yeah, that looks right, I think. And then see what they say. I sometimes I see what they say. Yeah, so the first one's right because it's like a test-driven development, so it's gonna check first. So.
Yep.
third. So, okay, we are happy with that. So now we need to do another one. So 4 equals false 1. And then ID equals false 1. Then we look at the next one, which is 4 equals false, true 1, and then not 1, 2, and then ID equals true 2, and then for this one we will need 4 false 2, and ID equals false. Right, let's see how we're doing. So give the label elements text such as that the input comes before the text. So and then give the input elements a value matching the text. The text should either be true or false. So let's have a look. So give the label elements text such as that input comes before the text. So it needs text. So it needs true. No.
Yeah, it does, but it says that the input needs to come. Your input label comes before the text, so the text will be after that. So put your text after your input label, after your input. Yeah.
Then true.
Yeah, it looks like radio's over there. Yep. Text should be, maybe capitalized. Did it not like that?
It didn't like it, so I'm gonna have to capitalize each one. Still don't like it. So then give the input elements a value matching the text. So I need to give the input elements a value to match the text. No, wait. Then give it. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Wait. This is false. This is true. Hey. Okay.
Great.
They really set you off. I mean, I would have liked if, like, in one example, they have a question which do like, quick 2 minutes, and another one like, could take a longer time. Anyway, if you click on the radio inputs, you might notice both inputs within the same can be selected at the same time. Group the relevant inputs together, such as that. Yeah, I was expecting this. So trying to remember how you did it. We did it with because we had a name, right?
Yes, exactly.
So we need to give her a name. So we just need to give the name to be, I'm just going to use the same form.
Mhm.
Oh, no, I can't. I'll just use question one.
There you go. Yeah.
This will be the same. So now I do true and false. Yes, it works. And in this one, we'll do name equals question 2. And this one, we'll write also name equals question 2. Just make sure it works. Yeah. Why doesn't
Looking good.
Although, wait.
Didn't like it? There
No,
it is.
I thought I pressed Control Enter and it didn't work. And I was like, why is it not working? To prevent unnecessary repetition, target the before pseudo element of the P element and give a content property of question number. So we need to target the before. I don't think we used that one before.
I think we used the after, maybe the pseudo element. So you remember how to select with the pseudo element?
Sort of. So you do
P.
no, you do so you do P. Is this no? It's something. Pseudo element. I'll just Google it. Pseudo element. Okay, cool. So you do P and then before Q. So I knew it's one of the characters. Right. So there you go. P before, and then it should be that, and then give a content property of yeah, it has to be in quotes because it has a space, and it's because it's content.
Neat.
No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, it is. Okay. I've not really used quotes. I don't think. Maybe I did, but I forgot I used them, like in this section.
I thought you put quotes around it, didn't you? Yeah.
No, I did, but it's just I don't remember the time when, like, I'm working in South CSS and I use quotes to do like content. So.
Yes. No, we didn't use content before like that I recall.
So the final section of this quiz will contain a dropdown and a text box. Begin by nesting a div with a class of form row and nest 4 div elements inside of it. Alternating their class attributes with question block and answer. Great. Okay, cool. So that means I need to create 2 and then copy and paste it. So we need to do div and div. I'm going to do another div. I'll do a div. And then I'll work on, and then I'll copy and paste it afterwards. Anyway, so begin by nesting with a class of so I've got nest 4 div elements. Okay, cool. So we can do that. Then we can do with class equals question block and then another div element plus equals answer. Goes off, goes to div. Just tab it in, copy. There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. So within the div question block elements, nest one label element and give the label elements text content. So what we're gonna do is this one. So within each one, I need a label element. And give the label elements text content.
I don't think that they mean this kind of content. I think they just mean to give it a label and put some text in there in between, maybe.
I don't know. Content?
You could, yeah, and then it'll replace it with whatever it wants to replace it with next time. So for the question block ones, yeah, you'll want to have that.
So what about for the answer?
Yeah, it didn't say to do anything with the answers yet.
Oh, right, yeah. Cool, that's good. There you go.
There's their questions.
Within the first div answer element, there's one required select element with the 3 options elements. So select. And then option. Right. Yeah. So, and then let's just close off the select. So within this one, give the first option element a value of value Let's give the first. What? Okay, it doesn't.
Oh, where did it say that?
Oh, nest one required.
Oh, nest one required a select element. Okay.
You
Wow,
just see that. I'm sorry, but you see that as a kind of a, like, oh, it's maybe required. You don't actually see it as an actual
Because it was a keyword and they didn't give it a gray highlight.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fine, but yeah, I guess that's okay. Fine. Anyway, so link the first label element onto the select element and give the selector name element a name attribute. So link the first label element to the select element, and then give the select element a name attribute. Link the first label element. So this is the first label element. So we'll do 4 equals, what should we do? Is it, let's just do first select, I guess.
Okay.
And then in the select equals ID equals, I'll give the select ID equals will be first select. And then we also need to give a name as well. And I'll just do the same.
Okay.
Perfect. Right. Next. They did customer.
Okay.
Let's see. So next one text area within. I think after this, I am definitely knowing and understanding what an element is and an attribute is.
Yes, you are. You're doing really well, actually.
So let's see. So insert the number. Number of text areas. Placeholder equals. It's different. Text. Huh. I don't see the placeholder though.
I don't either. Why is that?
Oh, it should be like this, right?
I thought so. Give it some rows and columns first and see if that helps. Rows is an attribute. Cols, C-O-L-S, is an attribute. It says to set the number of rows and columns.
So it'll be here, right? So equals 5 and row equals 6.
Is it rows or I don't remember if it's plural or singular, like ROWS.
Something strange. A col. Yeah, this should be it.
Is it just one singular?
No, if you do cols, it does that. So col 5 makes
columns,
sense.
as in.
Yeah. Columns are like here, right? These are columns, right?
That
so
go.
I have 5 columns. This is 4 columns. This should be 3 columns.
Is it changing?
It is not changing.
Try this plural. Put an S on it, and now make it 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has changed.
But your placeholder is still not there, is it?
No, it's weird.
Why is that?
Just check my code.
What's it say?
Apparently it's right, but yeah.
Change it to something other than test, like. Huh. I don't know. I don't know why it's not working.
As with the other input and label elements, link the text area to its corresponding label and give it a name attribute. So as with the other test.
Oh, this is just another linking label.
Yeah. So
Okay.
for equals. What am I doing? Question block. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Questions.
Oh, okay. Open questions.
And then I need to link the ID equals questions. And I also need to add a name equals open questions. Cool. I think do not forget to give your form a submit button. Let's do maybe this one as a last one, and then we'll continue on next week.
I think that's a great idea.
Right. So do not forget to give your form a submit button. So, wow, they give you.
You've been writing some code here, yeah.
Yeah. So they want me to have a submit button, and I totally forgot how you do that. Then that was in the beginning. Submit button form. Form.
There it was. Yeah. Submit. Put type equals submit.
Is that the form? Sorry, 1 second. I need to add an input element, right? And I need to write this. Okay. Seems right. No. The submit should display the text.
Oh, okay. So you need another attribute, I think, that gives it the text. So that would be, do you remember what attribute that is?
Value, right?
It's not value. I think it's, I always forget this, but I think it's name. You could look it up to be clear, to be sure.
Let's have a look. Placeholder. No, wait. Let's have a look for submit.
Good. That's what I was just what I was going to say.
Value, yeah.
Value. Is that what you said? Value?
Yeah, I said value.
Awesome. Value. Submit. Yay.
Awesome. So yeah, I think that's it. Yes, step 41, 2 final semantic for this Oh, should we finish off this? Because it says 2 final semantic. It's almost like we finished it, right? And it's going to move to the next one. Should we?
Up to you. Well, it's going to be the whole thing because you're going to probably do a footer and
Yeah. Okay, let's leave it for now. So we are going to continue from step 41 next week. This was a long one. So yeah.
They'll probably start being like this. Actually, they'll get more difficult, like especially when we get to React and AI and things. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
that's fine. I'll rearrange our sessions to be covering next week, and for this part 2. So yeah, it's going to be great. All right then. Thanks for joining. I went. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.